That was cool. That was cool.
Whatever the problem, we're not a song. Workflow, that's a game. Never big fights with the girl game. All of my ladies are fire, rolling with creases, I'm female empire. Workflow, that's a game. Never pick fights with the girl game. All of my ladies are fire, rolling with creases, I'm female empire.
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're taking a look at XG's Girl Giving. This is their dance practice. Very excited about this because at the time that I'm recording this, there's an active poll going on my Patreon on which dance routines of XG's to cover. And this one is in direct competition with Left Right, which I have recently done at the time of recording this, so I'm very curious about what this is going to look like. I don't believe I've heard the track. Maybe I have, not sure. But we're going to go ahead and check it out. Okay. Like it. Mischievous. I've heard this part. Hey. I like the choreography for this. Hey! Nice! That was great on the visuals. I really like the drop. It's interesting. I think I have heard it before, which is why it didn't shock me as much. It's interesting with their feature, she's choosing to do kind of half tempo on her hip rotations in comparison to everybody else. Okay. Fun. Nice. Nice. That was cool. That was cool. Okay, while we're here, I think it's time for me to take my guess of my 7 members. So we're gonna start over here. So now with Kokona, I normally see her with a hat, so it is really hard for me to catch where she is here. So I'm gonna start over here. This is Chisa. This is Hinata. This is Harvey. This is Jurin, our leader. This one, I thought she was Juria, but I think she... Nope. I thought she was Maya, but she's Juria. I thought this was I don't. Oh, guys, these three are throwing me off now. One of them is Juria, one of them is Kokona, and one of them is Maya. I know that. I'm doing pretty good. Remember, I say my policy on the marathons is as long as I know at least half, I'm golden. Maybe one day I'll figure them out, but it's still a tricky game for me. I think it's because their hair is really similar, and Kokona, I'm so used to her wearing a hat that I programmed her in like the clocker when she wears one. So, but initial thoughts, I freaking loved it. It was really cool, really great vibe. It's definitely it's not a surprise, if that makes sense, because the track, I do have a sense of familiarity with it. It's very enjoyable, really nice. I love a lot of the moments. They're different. It has a sense of playful sensualness, but also like that bad A vibe. But it doesn't come across as inappropriately overly sensual. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have some flirtatious nuances about it, but nothing overboard. I don't think anything like super crossed the line. So that I appreciate. Walking forward. Now notice we have our feature here. Normally, like I had mentioned before, Jurin is normally the one that I noticed first on the vocal side. So I'm going to see if that formula is going to happen here. I don't quite remember, but it is nice for them. Honestly, I appreciate the intentionality of where they're placing their chairs, because a lot of people just have chairs there and don't think about they also matter in the symmetry of how you want your aesthetic to come across. So this was a very good call. I do know though that it's not as symmetrical because we are missing a chair here because there are 7 of them. I love that energy there. Boom, dun dun dun, accent with the head, which is really nice. Click, click, swipe, swipe. Then we're building it up. And it's really nice just with the walks. Everybody's mannerisms and how they're walking is very similar. Notice with their arms and their movement. Very purposeful, and they are being mindful of they're not doing too much, but they're also not just walking. There is intention behind it. Then from here, it does look like they were trying to do a ticking wave. My one note is there was a disconnect between the wrist to, well, actually it may not have been the wrist. Now I have to think. It didn't feel complete. I felt like we got caught a little bit in some of the joints here as they did do it. Regardless if it's a ticking wave, it wasn't clear when they transferred the energy over from one arm to the other, so that would be my note there. Swinging it over, walking back, setting it up. I love that, having that moment, dropping it down. Now here, my vote is, I have a feeling this is Kokona. My gut's telling me Kokona, I'm going to lock that in. I don't think that is Juria or Maya. I like that they're all going here, vibing it out, all making their own choices, but then syncing up. So this is honestly, besides Tippy Toes, the first time Jurin is not our vocal feature first. That party, really nice going, bana. It's just chill conversational, which helps with the choreo. They're not doing too much here, but they're not just being still either. I love that. Da da da, pom pom. I'd say the verse sounds freaking sick. I love it. Harvey comes up. Now notice as she walks, they have a hinge. It really complements her direction very well because of where they're hinging. Also really smart for her who's going back to her seat. She is still doing similar mannerisms because it does help keep it all tied together, but it does feel like we have some independence in our communication, which I really like. And they go to da 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 da, really bleeding through the range of the phrase. Very nice. Yeah, ba-na-na-na-na. Now, I do know that with XG, they do have a history of doing sign language in their pieces. I just don't know which ones. Maybe this one, I don't know. But I like that D. And I have said this before. I think I know who the member is whose vocals are probably one of my favorite female vocals from any group ever is Chisa. I really like her vocals a lot, and I think there's a particular harmony that was in Puppet Show, and then we heard it again in their performance take that I just was enthralled by. So I'm curious if that is, but her tone is just so captivating. Yeah, it's just full, it's enjoyable. I very much enjoy it. I really like that we have multiple things happening, but also we're being intentional about who's sitting in what chair. That is always something happening the whole time. We're always mindful. Even the transitions with the chairs, they're clean, they're thorough, And that makes it feel like a full package, which I like. And I do like the fact that the room is not just straight white. This time it's a little more of like, has some creams and some neutrals infiltrating here. That is helpful in it does give a different look. This feels a little bit warmer, which can help with the overall aesthetic. So honestly, it's a great room choice for this type of track. I love that tough where she hits out and they accent out, then having your two going down, boom, boom. So yeah, also knowing with Jurin and Kokona, they do a good job on the style and they're matching their pocket very well together. So that's why my gut's telling me this is Kokona, even though she's not wearing a hat. Having their moment right here. This is Hinata, I do know that. She's having this moment. Da-da, ba-da-da, da-da-da. Also, what's interesting is they both match, not even just in the arm position, but in the hyperextension, which I find very interesting. And they go through, she hits it, boom, and then we have our moment going forward. Ooh, did I say she was Maya or did I say she was Shuria? I don't know. I think she's one of them. I've got it narrowed down to 2. And I think that's pretty good. 5 out of 7. I think I should, I feel very proud about that, you know? I really do. So having this moment right here, which I really like, and they frame it up. Great choice. Dun, dun, Neath, bringing it through. So notice that we all are making slightly different choices. Everyone's using the right hand, but we're rotating to the inside. So I guess my note would be for this side to frame more effectively using their left hand. I think it would have felt a little bit cleaner here, but that's why this doesn't feel as refined. But having this moment of both of them with their arms up is nice. It adds depth to the levels. And I like the head and the hands complementing each other. Is this the cleanest routine? I don't believe so. This one's giving the same level of cleanliness that I saw from, I just watched it. Left, right. Yeah, that one. So, and I don't mind it because it's still clean, it's intentional. They're doing a good job of matching each other's energy. So it's not like a make it or break it, but it is, however, easier to pick up on discrepancies when you don't have cleanliness on your side to captivate. Yeah, problem. And then tell me to solve them. Step, hit, rotate around. This part, notice they have to have a swing of the chest. Swing, 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 dun, dun. And I like syncopation. Dee-dee-dee-dee, which I really like. Great pacing. Also notice with their left hand, they're doing a very good job of fixed pointing this part. Now, do some of their angles seem to be a little off? A lot of them are angling a little bit more down and some are a little bit more midline. So that would just be something to clear up there. But whenever you have different arm lengths, that can be a little tricky. The swing, swing, swing. There we're there. Boom, boom, boom. That was a nice moment. Yeah. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Fire. Having that moment with our feature, but everybody keeping their arms up. Great choice to keep your features. Yeah. Do-do-do-do-do. Empire. And really making it extroverted in that transition back to the side. I really like, all of their shoes are the same. I think it's Nike Airs. They look cool. I like that. Da-da-da. Da-da-da. And having those in the back have their arms higher. And then those who are in the front a little bit lower. Shows depth and it shows really nice angles. And also having your center, she does a very good job of allowing herself to not do what everybody else is doing, but she's still matching the torso grooves and the energy, which is a very good skill to have. I will say there's a baby discrepancy right here with that angle, but it's something that's not too crazy. Nothing too bad. Now that right there, that was another example. She did just a single. They should end up doing about 2. Everybody else did 1, 2, 3, about 3. So she was consistent both times, which I really liked. Now, Ray choice from Harvey, because she stuck her hands out, helps us clock her a little bit easier because everybody else's hands are down. I love that bow down part. Boom. They bring it up with there's this little sound in the back. Really great choice there. That little head down. Really nice. Yeah. Boom, boom. Really nice, clean. I do feel like we could have done boom, boom. Like maybe have a sense of an accent with some reverb or something happening with it as they finish. I love this moment here. Great usage. It's a little bit riskier to be able to do the chairs like these because these are not the most reliable chairs to stand on. I mean, you can get the job done, but definitely not my top 5 chairs to stand on in my personal opinion. So they do a great job in the transitions. Notice how unstable they are, but they do a very good job. I love that home and everybody drops and then she has her moment up. Honestly, this part right here is pretty wild, but it works. So she goes boom, ha, do-do-do, boom, boom. And so they actually ride the bass very well, but it doesn't come across as overly sensual. It hits as more like it's spicy, but it's not prostitute. You know what I mean? Not really, I'm not even going to say prostitute. I would say like, it's not coming across too sexy for their age. There's a fine line. They're underage. Some of them are. You got to be very careful. I still stand by that regardless of how popular you are. I don't care. If you are a child, there are certain things that you do not need to be doing. I feel with this, we are getting close to the line, but I don't think we've like fully crossed it on this one, which is why I'm like, I'm fine with it, honestly. And it's very clean. I do like that boom here. Nice. Everybody has their own little moment, which I really appreciate. That was a very clean transition from her. She did a very good job coming up. It didn't take away anything from her movement or from the formation. Also notice with the chairs, every chair has a place. Even here, it's symmetrical, even down the line. I really appreciate that. And also notice with your dancers, you're doing a good job of moving over, and everybody is just, there's just a lot of, it just feels very prepared, which I really, really like. Yeah, banana at the pot, and she still has her moment. They all grab the chairs and move them down, and they slide it through. I even love how the outsides are choreographed to the sides. I appreciate the intentionality, and I love how she walks. Full confidence, she doesn't look down. I appreciate that. Then she drops, establishes a new level, having a new reveal, having them seated, also with the intentionality of where their hand goes. I appreciate it. Then having them stand clean on the sides, walking through, having that moment in the center, moving it through. Great job on the choice of having one of them stand directly in front of the other. It's to maintain symmetry, even though with multiple points, even though we do end up missing a member for that 1.5 seconds. And instead of like ice, so it's nice that they framed it to the bottom, also framed here near the top of their hands. I really like that. Sliding it through, I love that, where they're sliding on the outside and then they're sliding it on the inside, which I really like. And notice we're still symmetrical, which I love, and we're having this energy bleed forward. Now they're here. They all have their energy. They're all arching from the same part of their lower back, which I appreciate, because sometimes people just have like a super straight line. There's a baby tiny curve that's happening on a lot of the backs. I would say she's a little bit straighter. She's a little bit straighter. She has a slight bend right there. It just kind of depends, honestly, I think, on what you're wearing. But I really appreciate the intentionality there. Dropping it down, up and down. I love that moment. Boom, boom, boom. It's simple and effective. Turning it through and around. And then we're walking through. Now having this moment here, having her walk forward, collaborating with what's happening with our other feature 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really nice and symmetrical on both sides. Really great way to get everybody back to the front. Great transition in between the chairs. Yeah. Boom. So it's really nice on the bases. Now that part is very clean because it's all in unison. We don't have anybody break away from it, which is why it enhances and it feels a little bit more energized that second time versus the first. We are having a feature, but she is dancing the exact same as everybody else. So that's why it reads a little different. But I like it. This part is still the way that it is, where everybody's up now except for our feature. She's the only one who puts her arms down. And she's also goes boom, 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 boom. So it's still a little bit different. Everybody else complements it. She's still the only one who does a single. Everybody does triple. Yeah, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Really like that. Just peel out with the snaking of the hand. It's cool. Now I like that where they look over, looking to the side and to the side. Her having her moment over there with the 3, and then they're having their moment with their head. Now higher, just a little bit extra on the reverb as she was signifying her feature there in that moment. Nothing too crazy. Nothing as actually an issue. It comes right there. She's doing a pony situation. Do I feel like there's anything that's catering to that pony? I don't think so. I mean, it works. But normally, like, you would see people maybe do a body roll instead, because that woo, not a doom, doom. Normally, that's like a heartbeat kind of timbre that you deal with whenever you deal with ponies or drums or percussion, but here the bass line was a little bit different, so that was a different choice. Having her moment, taking her chair, bringing it forward, everybody else turning their chair around, which I like, moving them through. I love that. Very clean, walking through. I love her moment right there. She drops it, everybody else is up. right on the chair. Yeah, doom, doom, doom. Very, very clean every single time. Having, I think it was smart to have Harvey come up when they all drop down. That shows the opposition, and it really establishes she is doing something different on purpose. And I love with the chest there, they come up around, they hit. Notice the rotations, not everybody's doing the exact same thing, so that'll be my note to make sure everyone's rotations are in check. That step, boom, boom. Also I know she's featured, but still, before you're featured, you don't want to be featured too early, right? So she was featured here, but she could have made a better choice to transition more effectively to match everybody else and then have her moment. That would have really been captivating, but it's still a captivating though. Boom, boom, boom. This is treading on the line just a little bit for me. I do appreciate the fact that everybody is fully clothed. Thank you for that, especially if you're going to do some movements like this with underage dancers. This was cool. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I love that rotation around with the straight leg, which was nice. They hit up as they tap down. Moving it over to the side. Not everybody hit their bottoms into their seat at the same time, but it was really nice for her to have that moment. This was cool too. Notice they wrap around the back. So they're not really holding on to the chair. They are using their forearms too, but it looks like they're not touching the chair at all. You know what I mean? In that way of actually moving it. So it's cool to see that hinge over, and you see some of them lift the chair off the ground. So that would just be my overall note to make sure everybody lifts it at the same amount and the same amount back down. And they go, damn, girls, still looking to the front. I really like that. Yeah, yeah. I love that. Having that moment. Boom, there we go. There's that moment again. I think this is a fingerprint kind of hand signal, which I really like. It's nice to see groups that have that. I like that. Ooh, and then having the energy to sit back down, and they're finished. So guys, this was really great. And also, let me just re-clarify. No, I was not calling them prostitutes at all. My context was a lot of times with movement, like teasing movement, like some of what they're doing, you can run a very thin line on that. I am appreciative that we didn't get too close to that line. I would say there's only one moment where it really did. They're still underage, some of them are. So regardless, it's still, there has to be a level of accountability of we want to protect our performers. We do, in any way that we can. And I'm still going to be an advocate for it regardless if people agree with me or not. I don't appreciate when people are over-sexualized and they are minors. I'm never going to be okay with that. This was not that. This was not an example of that. This was something where they weren't going that direction. They were kind of teasing it a little bit, but they didn't cross the line in any means. So I want to really make that note there because I do know that if taken out of context, it can really come across like I'm declaring something that's very obviously out of pocket. So I wanted to go ahead and clear that up. But I really like this. This is cool. If this one ends up winning on Patreon, I will have zero issues with learning it because it looks freaking sick. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I was helpful in some way. If you want to see more ATs, XG, 17, K-pop, regular dance content, D-League, Street Dance China, the whole shebang, I have so much of it, not only on YouTube, but I got about twice to 3 times, maybe 5 times more that is on Patreon, always getting released. As groups have comebacks, I have reactions posting. So it's always really fun for me to really take a deep dive into a marathon within a group. I know with XG, they're a bit younger, in the sense of as a group represented. So that means that we don't really get to see as much of their growth in ways that maybe I'm seeing from ATs or from 17. I do know that going in, but it still is really fun to kind of play catch up and see just their eras that they've been demonstrating. It's been really nice. And of course the fan base, the alphas, have been nothing but kind to me, very supportive and providing amazing extra context to help me really wrap my brain around just the overall aesthetics of the eras that we're seeing. So once again, I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.